Oh, hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today in this video we're going to be learning more about JavaScript. So we're going to be continuing our JavaScript for Beginner series, and in this series we've learned about much more stuff in basic JavaScript. Now we're going to be learning about something called window object, and inside of the window object I'm going to be teaching you about DOM, BOM, and JS Core. So DOM basically stands for document object model, and BOM stands for browser object model. So everything in JavaScript is an object, so we're going to be talking about the objects that are really important in JavaScript, which provide us some core features of JavaScript. So first thing first, we're going to open our Visual Studio Code, and in this Visual Studio Code we're simply creating an index.html file. So this is chapter 5. I have this over here. I'll update chapter 4 in the next video. In this video I'm going to be updating you the chapter 4 in my GitHub. Then in chapter 5 I'm going to be updating you this in the next chapter. So now I've inserted script inside of the body because we're going to be using this just in case if we need any kind of things from this one. So first let me go ahead and create a stuff over here. Let me create it in heading 1, and in the heading 1 I will simply go for hello world. Now you should have basic knowledge about HTML while you're working with JavaScript, because HTML is necessary, or it is a little bit required while you're working with JavaScript inside of the web browser. So you should have some knowledge. Now in the web browser, I guess I need to turn on the live server first so that I can go into the local host and at port. Okay, so I'll copy this one. I don't need to use Brave because I will get better developer options in this one. So I'll inspect this, and I'll see in the console that I can see live reload enabled. This is from the live server. This is not the code that we have injected. It says that code injected by live server, and this is our script right over here. This is our script tag, and this is the script that has been inserted by live server. So first thing, what are we going to do? So the first thing that we're going to do over here is we're simply going to go and check something. So as I said, everything in JavaScript is an object. Now there's an object called window. So let's take a definition of window. Window is basically this. I'm not gonna give you the definition, but I'm simply telling that a window is this. This is a window. We know this as a window works. This is a okay, let me show you. This is a workspace. You see right over here, it's the combination of different windows, and these individual are known as the windows. Now in the JavaScript we have a window object, so if it is an object we can simply console.log it. So like console.log, and if I console.log the window object over here, let me hit enter, you can see that it's an object over here. It has default properties. So the default properties are all those kind of properties. Now we know, let me give you a hint. It's not a hint, it's a really good thing that you need to keep in mind, that it is a global object. Now global object in JavaScript can be called without using the dot symbol. So what am I talking about? Let's go ahead and give you an example. So you can see this console right over here. This console is also a method. Console is a method of the window object, and the reason why don't we use window.console.log is because window is a global object and we don't need to use the dot symbol in order to call it. So what am I talking about? Let me give you an example. I can simply go ahead and say window.console.log, or else I could go with console.log. This both will work. You can see hello has been printed over here. Now we've studied about the window object. Now inside of the window object there's something called document object model. So document object model, also known as the DOM as abbreviation, and what is it? So I'll simply give you a brief explanation about this one. Now first let me go ahead and tell you about what is a document. So in this page you can see index.html, it's a file. You see it as a file, but what do we see is we see it as a document in JavaScript. See, it says doc type HTML, which is document type HTML. Now if it is a document, then we can access this in JavaScript. Now how do we access this in JavaScript? There's something called document object model. So JavaScript, what it does is basically it takes this HTML document over here. Now this is going to be converted into an object. JavaScript converts everything into an object, and even the document you see right over here, it's an object. We can access it right over here. Let me show you how we can access this. So if I go on to here, you can see that HTML document is over here. Now this HTML document has different prototypes. This has all of the stuff that are required. Now you can see that there are a lot of functions that are going on here. A prototype, it's a function, all the stuff that we require, it's in the HTML document. So let me go ahead and show you. Okay, so it's available in the window, so it's available in the global, so we don't need to use window dot anything, so we can simply say console dot log and we can say document. Now if I console log document out there, we can see that HTML document has been printed, and we can see that this is the URL of the web page, and it provides you all the different information about the web page or the document that we have over here. So this is the HTML document. We have all those stuff that we can perform actions on this document. So its title is this. I can access this title using document.title. So if I console.log document.title, you can see that chapter 5 has been printed because the title of the document in chapter 5. Now there's more into it. Now this contains child, and what are child? Child are basically some offspring of the parents, we know that, but child in JavaScript or in HTML is basically the one that is in between the script tags. So the child of the body, we can see that the child of the body is a script and a heading 1. Now for this heading 1, script is a sibling. For this script, heading 1 is a sibling as well. And for this, this is also a child, but this child also has a child, and this is hello world. Now we actually know them by nodes. So what are nodes? Let me go ahead and write it to you. There are 3 nodes. So there are 3 nodes, and those nodes are: one is text node, which is this one right over here. This is also known as the text node, and you see this space right over here, the spacing over here, up to from here to here. So this spacing is also a text node. You get that? And now there's something called element node. Let me go ahead and write it down. Element node, and the last one is comment node. So element node is basically this h1 tag, heading 1 tag. So all those tags you see right over here, these are known as the element node, and the comment node are the comments that we have. So in HTML, let's go for this is a comment. If I go ahead and comment this one out, okay, this is not being done. Okay, now this is a comment. Now this is known as the comment node. So there are a few ways that we can access this. Now there are certain ways that we can access. So the first thing that we're going to do is we can simply go ahead and use this body. So to access this body, we can say console.log document.body. Now in the document.body, you can see a body over here, and inside of the body we have different kind of properties. Inside of the body we have the background color, we have inner HTML, we have the inner text as well. So inner text is hello world, and we have the last child. This is a text node, you see right over here. How is this a text node? The last child of a body is a text node because there's a spacing over here. As I told you that even if the spacings are given there, that is also recognized as the text node. So if I go ahead and say document.body.firstChild, now the first child we see is a text node because it is given a line break between. So let me go ahead and console log this one again, and it is going to say that this is a comment, and this is a comment node. Okay, so that is what we know. And now if I go ahead and console log the last child, okay, last child, if I do that, you can see that it's a text. Why does it say that? Body, inside of the body we have a script tag. It should not say it's a text. Let me go ahead and give document.body the last. Whatever we see at the last is going to go ahead and give us that. So that is why the last child is basically a node value of \n, which is line break. So that is why it's giving a text node. So this is how we can access the child. These are the text node, these are the element node, and these are the comment node you see over here. So body is also a element node. Body is a element node, and first child you see right over here, it's a comment node. So if I go into this stuff right over here, instead of this, if I go ahead and remove this comment, and if I go ahead and say console.log, and then console.log, I'll console document.body dot, and I'll say first child. Then I can see that, okay, never mind, I made a mistake over here. So console log the document.body the first child, we can see that it's a element node, and this content right over here, it's the hello world. So we can access all of the stuff right over here using document here in the JavaScript. We can use document as well. So what are browser object model? What are BOM? So BOM is not the bomb you thought about. It's not explosive. It's JavaScript browser object model. So what are browser object model? So in your Java, while you're running JavaScript runs on your browser, and it can even run on your server side. It can run on your client side. The client side is known as the browser. Now, in the browser, you have different kinds of functionalities. Now, suppose I create a new tab over here. Is the functionality of the browser, right? JavaScript is being run besides this browser, is doing all of that task. Now, while we are working with web pages, we are provided some kind of facilities by the browser itself. Now you can say that ignoring get or set property, this has because this object is incorrect. Okay, never mind, these are the warnings that it gave us. You don't need to worry about. So I was in the JavaScript in the web browser, right? So browser provides you different kind of functionalities, and while we are working with web browser, we are working with JavaScript documents, and while we're working with that, we get some kinds of functionalities from the browser. So there are browser methods that we can use. So we've already used those browser methods. So those browser methods are actually alert. So if I say console.log, and if I go with alert, you can say that it's a function. That is alert, it's a function. Okay, so this alert function, that is provided by the browser. Now this varies on the browser. How does this vary on the browser? Let me go ahead and say alert, and if I go for hello, and if I say hello, you can see that it's in the center. It's not actually giving us from the top, but in the Brave browser, in a different browser, the thing appears from the top. It appears from the top. So it might appear from the side, it might appear from the bottom. So there's no fixed chance to it, and these cannot be manipulated. These browser object model cannot be manipulated, but document object model can obviously be manipulated. Now, what am I talking about? So let me go ahead and console.log the window, console.log, and if I say this, so this is basically something that is referring to the global object. In this case, the global object is window object, so it's going to go ahead and print me the window object over here. So that is a thing that you need to learn, but you'll learn in the future. Don't need to worry about it. So it is gonna go ahead and give you all of the functions that you see right over here. Okay, so I'm searching for a specific one. So yep, this is the browser object model right over we see over here, and another browser object model is something called location. Yep, you see this right over here. We can change the location using location dot href. Now if I go ahead and see that location is HTTP and all that stuff, I can change this href to something like HTTP https google.com. Now it is going to go ahead and teleport me or transport me into google.com. So that is how the browser object model works. Browser object model such as prompt, we can say prompt, I'll say hello. If I go ahead and say, it's going to go up here from the middle and it's going to ask me to say hello, and I'll say hello. It's going to do nothing. Okay, these are the stuff that we cannot manipulate. So yep, that is all about browser object model. So now there's something called DOM manipulation. Okay, let me give an example about that. Let's take an example that if user clicks on this hello world, I want to change the background. So there's something called manipulation in JavaScript. This is DOM manipulation. So I'll access the document.body.style. So this style is a attribute. Oh, it's a stuff that is provided. It's a property inside of body. It's a method. Oh, it's not a method, it's a property. Okay, style.background. This is going to change the background from white to red. So it's going to, you can see that we get red background over here. So this is basically something that you need to learn. This is where you are applying logic to your web page. JavaScript is basically for logic and server side. It can do both of the stuff. Okay, so that is what JavaScript is about, DOM manipulation, and I'm going to teach you about autocorrect as well. So this is going to be the last thing that I'm going to be teaching you in this video. I'll do more in the videos, and I'm going to be explaining you about direct child, parents, siblings, and the methods that you use to manipulate stuff. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and create a span over here. Let's take an example. Okay, if I go ahead and instead of ending this span with a span tag, let me just do hello, hi. Or we can go, let's go ahead and say hello, this is a span. Now if I go ahead and instead of closing the span with a span, I can close this span with a div instead. Now this is not good. You don't need to, okay, never mind. Now if I go ahead and say span over here, you see a span being printed. Now instead, I'll use a div here. Now, if I go here, okay, now, okay, let me make an error. It's like something that is replacing all that stuff that I've just done. But instead, what do? Is I go ahead and create a span. Let's go for a div, and I close this with a div. Okay, now I'm closing a span with a div. That is not the rule of HTML. The browser will say that no, I do not accept this. That is not something that I need to accept. I will instead close the span with a span instead. And once you go ahead and see in the inspector, you can see that the span has been closed by a span. So browser provides you auto correction. Okay, in any browser, you might not get it in some old browsers, or you might not get it in your browser that you've made yourself with low features, but in the features of the browser you can obviously see that there's auto correction. So even if I go and insert this body inside of the head, now I'll see that the body is just right over here. It's not inserting inside of the head, but this body is a separate stuff. So browser is auto-correcting the stuff that you've done mistakenly. That is cool. That is how cool browser is. So yep. So you don't need to insert your browser over here. You don't need to put your body over here. You just need to put the body below the head. Now that is how it works. That is how the auto-correction on browser works. And I guess this is the end of the video, and I hope you learned something new about browsers, and hope you've learned something new about JavaScript as well. So this is it for today. I'll see you in the next video. In the next video, I'll be teaching you about the document element, children, parent, sibling, direct child, and the properties, etc. Adding and deleting elements. We're gonna do that. We're gonna be manipulating the document as much as we can using JavaScript. And today's video was, I hope it was interesting. If it was, please give it a like and subscribe this YouTube channel. And please don't forget to join the Discord server. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care everyone, and goodbye.